He's a hell of a prospect from New Zealand, and we stole him. He's here in Australia. He's Nate Law. He's next.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is your main event.
Live from HBF Stadium Festival Hall. Melbourne Pavilion.
Not even backstage, we're literally outside.
Was that the best fight card in Australian MMA history?
Call me crazy, but make sure you call me when I'm right.
Be good if the Aussie MMA Instagram page would give us a bit of glow up because...
Welcome to the Australian MMA podcast. My name is Mitch Tinley, and thank you for joining me as we gear on up for March 14th, Beatdown Promotions in Brisbane, the brainchild of the great former UFC fighter and Horizon star, now commentator, Damien Beatdown Brown. Now, this fight is going to be super exciting. The New Zealand export, the adopted Aussie that is Nate Law out of the Fight Centre in Brisbane. He's taking on Mario Loga, which is one of Damien Brown's guys. Now, Mario Loga is dangerous. He has grenades. I think his nickname might even be the African hand grenade. But look, he absolutely knocks people dead. If we did a knockout of the year in the amateurs, I think it was honourable mention in the 2024 Australian MMA awards. Mario Loga picked up like second honourable mention. I don't know, whatever I called it. But yeah, one of the most brutal knockouts over Daryl Powell. So check that out. It's just, yeah, devastating. So Nate Law has a hell of a task in front of him now. He's a former New Zealander. I guess he's still technically a Kiwi. And he moved on over to Australia to sort of get more training and fight opportunities and whatnot. And he's training under the great Ben Johnston, who is the former Eternal Middleweight Champion and robbed of UFC Ben Johnston. Unfortunately, everyone knew how good Ben Johnston was, former World Muay Thai Champion, and didn't get his shot in the UFC because he was too old because the UFC is dumb. But look, his illegitimate son, Nate Law, looks exactly like him, is gearing up for a massive matchup to send Mario Loga into the professional ranks. Nate Law is looking to become 3-0, and at the state of the welterweight division, he definitely has a chance, I think, to sort of step up and, you know, maybe even get an eternal welterweight title shot. There's a welterweight title going down with Jack James and Blood Diamond at Beatdown, and if he slid into either of those sort of title opportunities over the next 6 months to a year with a victory, I wouldn't argue. So look, Nate Law is definitely one to watch. He talks about kind of his dedication to training, why he made the move over, obviously where he wants to go in the sport, and kind of what he does in his free time and what it means to train with all the legendary killers at the Fight Centre. So guys, without further ado, I want you to go check out. We're going to hear from our friends at Vex. Of course, go hit up Vex on their website, grab some gear. Or if you want a t-shirt like this, head on over to ma1combat.com.au and search Oz MMA, or you can find it in the bio of Australian MMA _. Guys, remember, like, subscribe, comment, all that sort of stuff. Let's hear from Vex. And on the other side, Nate Law.
Vex MMA has officially teamed up with PRP Global, and their brand new website is now live. Head over to Vex MMA to check out their latest gear, perfect for fighters and fans alike. Whether you're stepping into the cage or just repping the lifestyle, Vex MMA has you covered.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show. The one and only Nate Law. Welcome.
Appreciate you having me on.
I can see the extreme mass bucket in the corner of the camera. I can only imagine you're putting on the bulk.
It's Ben Johnston's actually. He's been trying to bulk up to light heavyweight, but fuck, he just can't lose his abs, eh? It stays at about 92 kilos the whole year.
How is retired Ben Johnston? Is he nicer or meaner?
I think he's a bit nicer, but probably a bit more on our ass a bit as a coach, you know, because he doesn't have his own thing to worry about as much. So his eyes are more on us.
That's a good point. Now, mate, one thing I've always wanted to talk to you about is I feel like you've been a part of this like unofficial exchange program with the Maoris Australians going to New Zealand and you coming here. What's the go, mate? Why are you in the land of Oz?
Just thought it would be like a better opportunity for me. Like I was just having a hard time getting fights in New Zealand. Like obviously Shuriken was pretty much the only show running for a lot of years there. And then I started kind of kickboxing, and as I was trying to get into MMA, I was just having a tough time getting getting experience in MMA. And then the other thing as well is like at City Kickboxing, like pretty much anyone who's got aspirations as a MMA fighter in New Zealand kind of ends up there anyway. So like it kind of limits the competition we have a bit. Obviously, it makes for like a great training environment, but as far as like getting the fights you need in New Zealand, it can get a bit tough. And it's not just me, it's like a lot of the other guys on the regional scene. And lucky I had this relationship with Ben because he was coming over. So it's sort of my idea was just to come here for a few months, get a few fights, and then go back. But it's been like almost 2 years, and don't plan on going back anytime soon. So.
Well, I mean, he's got this like almost like father figure vibe. He also kind of looks like he could be your father. Can you talk about can you talk about the relationship with Ben?
Yeah, no, it's for sure. Like yeah, when you let him down, like it feels like you've let dad down a bit, you know. Sometimes like you get a bit too you be going a bit too hard or being a bit of a dickhead or whatever, and he yells at you, and it feels like you've let dad down. But yeah, I don't know. It's like when Dan was my coach, everyone used to mistake me and Dan as like brothers, and then when Ben
Yeah.
had hair, everyone used to think me and Ben were brothers as well. I don't know. It's just like I just attract those kind of coaches into my life, apparently.
Yeah. Are you also a bit of a crazy maniac like Dan Hooker as well?
I wouldn't say that. I don't think we have too much in common outside of fighting.
Well, it's kind of funny though, because when I watched your fight with Connor Downey, who's an absolute wizard on the ground, it actually reminded me of the Dan Hooker versus Paulus fight, the one where Dan Hooker was like stuck in all those like leg lock transitions, and he just stayed like super calm and just slowly worked his way out of it. And that's kind of how it felt watching you. You just stayed so calm on the ground, and I feel like that was a real like level up for you. Have you always been that confident on the ground?
No, definitely not. I've not been that confident on the ground. Like to be honest, before that fight, I must have me and Brogan must have done like one or two sessions a couple of years back about like basic leg lock defense, hiding the heel and stuff. But the rest of it had just come from rolling, like people just trying to like ankle lock the fuck out of you and stuff. And then I think we got that offer maybe 5 or 6 weeks before the fight, and then we just went like in on it, just spending hours a day. And I knew like I knew it wasn't going to footlock me. Like I got pretty flexible feet and stuff, and that's nothing I would tap to anyway. So my goal was just to sort of hide my heel. He got it. He got my heel at one point, but I managed to roll out and just kind of baited him with my foot. He took the footlock and yeah, it slipped off, and then it was all downhill from there for him.
That's crazy because it's like that. Like most people panic in those situations. Like I know, like when anyone touches my ankle, I'm like, ah. So the
Yeah.
fact that you stayed so calm is incredible. In terms of like trying to find fights, obviously no one wanted to fight Downey because of how good he was on the ground. No one in the world wants to fight Mario Loga. Like, what is wrong with you?
I don't see the problem. Like fucking it's just a like a I look at it through like a positive lens. Like it's a challenge, like kind of Downey, that was a challenge and an opportunity for me to like sort of tick a box to complete my skill set more. And same with Mario, like he's obviously like had a very impressive amateur career. Like he's winning these fights like in impressive fashion, but like at the same time, like he's not invincible. Like he's got like like he's very good at what he does, but there's a lot of limitations to what he does as well. And I'm confident in my ability as a fighter and my well-roundedness to beat most guys.
Is there an added pressure of like that you might not just lose, but like obviously like get knocked out in devastating fashion? Does that play in your head at all?
Yeah, no, you definitely think about it. And like yeah, I mean fucking no one wants to be on the receiving end of a fucking overhand right where you're like pancaked on the ground. But I
Because
mean
I'll share it. I'll bloody share
yeah, I know you were the dog. Nah, but I mean fuck like you just you just prepare as best you can, and
it.
fucking you accept the results and consequences of a fight. Like it's one of those things that can happen. But I mean, it gives like when a guy hits hard like that, like definitely makes you like hone in a bit in training and make sure like fucking you're you're on your P's and Q's for sure.
What's the sort of worst situation you've had of that? Like, have you ever been like really like cracked hard in training or in a fight where you were like almost like that was quote unquote embarrassing?
Yeah, I've had that. I've never been knocked out before, but I've been dropped in a fight, and it was fucking yeah, it wasn't it wasn't a good time. Obviously, I it happened in the first round, and I made it to the end, but I don't remember the rest of the fight. And then like I was like I came to out the back, and I'm like, what happened? Like, did I get knocked out? And they're like, no, you didn't get knocked out. It's like I don't fucking remember what happened. But yeah, you just lick your wounds and fucking eventually you move on. And yeah, I mean it's part of the sport, and you obviously do your best to keep yourself safe and in a good position. But at the end of the day, you just gotta accept accept all the outcomes that can happen.
Well, I mean, speaking of all sort of the outcomes that can happen, and I guess this kind of circles back to living over in Australia now. How does the family feel about you being so far away?
I don't think they love it, but at the same time, like they they're happy for me to be just doing good with my life and kind of chasing my dream. Like I told them I was leaving for 3 months, and here we are. But yeah, I mean, I don't think they love me fighting full stop, but I mean, like they can't stop me. Like I'm an adult, and but they've kind of come around to it, and they are sort of supportive of me just chasing my dreams and trying to do something with my life.
How are you funding it all?
Well, I work at the gym, so
Oh,
I work at the gym, but and then I do some security work on the weekends as well, which is a
oh
bit.
yes. No, I've seen a lot of videos. Apparently all you do is chat to ladies.
Hey, I don't know about that. I don't know about. I'm just doing my job, man.
Customer service.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah, good customer service. That's it.
making sure everyone has a good time. Do you get any trouble while doing security?
It's usually pretty good. I was working at a club in the valley, which like the crowd wasn't like the best crowd, but I'm at a different spot now, which is sort of just like preppy white kids, and you sort of tell them to move on, and they're like, okay, and then they just leave. So, yeah.
What? Why did you get moved? You just sparking too many people.
Nah, it wasn't. Hey, there's another guy at this gym who does that, but he'll remain nameless. But I left. I went to Thailand for a few weeks and came back, and I just been rostered on somewhere else. So that was
Oh.
sort of how it went. But yeah, I mean, with the funding thing as well, like the obviously the fight center's been real good. Like I live here, and I don't have to pay rent and stuff, so they're really
You live
supporting.
there?
Yeah, I live out the back, the caravan out the back I stay in.
Really? That's sick.
Yeah. Yeah. Nah, it makes for an easy life. Just work, train, repeat.
But you probably can't ever be like, oh, Ben, I'm too sick to train. Like, you'd be like, just knock on your door and come get you.
Yeah. Yeah, there's no sickies. No sickies for work, no sickies for training. That's the downside of it. But
That's sick, man. It's like, and then obviously, like, I don't even want to really ask you about the plan for the future because it sounds like you're only going to be here for 3 months and now you're here for 2 years. But
yeah.
what is the plan? Like, what's the next couple of years look like for you?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, uh looking to have a big year this year. Like as long as I can stay injury free and like put on the performances that I know I'm capable of, like I feel like I should be able to bang out at least 3 or 4 fights, and that would get me in a kind of close to a crack, and then like a big start to next year. I think I could be looking at a shot on like a big promotion in the next 18 months if all goes to plan.
Will you ever walk out with an Australian flag?
Hell no, absolutely not. No chance, mate.
But you like did all your learning here, you know?
I'm a Kiwi. I'm a Kiwi.
Do you cop shit for living in Australia?
Uh, nah, I don't think so. Fucking Brisbane and Gold Coast is just like full of Kiwis anyway. Like we all do the same thing. We just like pack up New Zealand in our early 20s and then just end up over here. So it
Yeah.
feels like home anyways.
Yeah. Someone said the other day, I had an American say that the Kiwis are like the Mexicans to Australia. And I was like, oh yeah. I was like,
Yeah,
how
hey,
do you-
I'm
how
not
do
gonna
you-
push back on that.
No, that's cool, man. And I feel like the way sort of welterweight and everything is, like, there's a lot of opportunities, with titles and guys sort of leaving. And I feel like now's a really good opportunity to be a young up and comer that's going to get that big opportunity probably sooner rather than later. Where like five years ago, you would have maybe had to have 10 fights, but I reckon one or two fights, man. Even with Mario on the resume, like you could be getting a title shot very soon.
Yeah, I think that's definitely something I think sort of later in the year is something I'll be aiming towards. Like yeah, sort of if I could get to like 4-5-0, something like that, I think that would put me in a position to fight one of those top guys in Australia. And yeah, like if you ask me, like I think I'm ready to do that right now. But just like get the experience. More cage time is not going to hurt me at all. And I mean,
Well,
I don't feel like I'm up against the clock yet, anyway. So
yeah, I mean, look, I kind of agree with you as well. Like, honestly, what we saw against like Connor Downey was super impressive. Just because I guess that was the only real question mark is how do you go on the ground, like type thing, and you were looking amazing type thing. So, I mean, is there anything in your game in training where you're like, no, 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 I don't want the massive fights until I fix this thing?
uh, nothing I'll tell you about. Yeah, no, there's a few positions. I don't think there's like a whole like I don't think there's a whole like concept in MMA that I'm not confident with, but there is like a few sort of like niche positions that like some of the top guys might might be able to exploit. So like, but I mean, bro, I train like year round. Like it's not like I piss off between fights and stuff. So like we're always looking to plug those gaps. And yeah, I mean yeah, there's probably just like a few certain positions I need to sharpen up on. But I think my general game is like pretty well rounded.
Well, I mean, you train with some absolute killers. Can you talk about everyone always? I mean, he's recently gotten some shine, but everyone used to talk about how good he was in the training room. How good is Darcy Vendy?
Darcy, he's as good as anyone I've ever trained with. Like even these UFC guys I used to train with, like, he's probably like at the top of that list in terms of like talent and difficulty to spar. Like he's incredible, man. Like absolute freak athlete, and like his well-roundedness, like his ability to strike, wrestle, clinch, grapple, like he's got it all. Like I got no doubt if he gets a shot on contenders, like he'll not only win that, but go a long way in the UFC.
Do you feel like the fight center, like the best is yet to come with everyone?
Yeah, for sure. I think like the team is still kind of young. Like we've only really been training together 18 months, and yeah, we're still a relatively young team in the game, but we got a lot of up and coming guys. And I think now that Ben's like a full-time coach as well, that's only helping us. Like the information we're getting is going to be even better.
And how did you feel as a man that's so close to Ben Johnston that, he ultimately fell short and didn't get his opportunity in the big show? What was it like to see him not get that and then have to walk away?
Yeah, it's unfortunate, man, because like I know he wasn't like on the decline, and the reason he sort of got denied was his age, but like I could see how much better he was getting, and like especially in that middleweight division in the UFC, like I feel like he would match up real good against those guys. So it is a bit disappointing. Yeah, the main reason is because I don't feel like he was actually getting worse. I feel like he was getting better, and I guess he didn't get an opportunity to show what he was capable of on the world stage.
Do you go better against him now or when he was a fighter?
Well, well, he's got like a bung shoulder. He's been in a sling for the last month, so yeah, I'd definitely go go better against him now. Nah, but I think I think his grappling just like he just like thinks about something hard enough, and then he'll just like start doing it. Like one day he just like decided he was going to be like a Kimura guy, and then he's just like finding Kimuras from everywhere, and then I can't. I'm like having to just like roll out, roll out, roll out. Can never fucking hold him down. Or one day he decides he's going to be like a leg locker, and then he's actually like real good at leg locks. Like I don't know what it is, but he's kind of got like he's got like cheat code strength, which definitely helps. Like he just like grabs you, and you're like, ah, yeah,
Yeah, yeah, he's been told Benny P funny journalist once asked him if he had retard strength.
Oh, yes. Yeah. The crazy thing is, like, when I came here, I was like, first day I got here, I was like sitting on his couch. I was asking, like, bro, what do you do for your strength and conditioning? And he's like, yeah, I don't believe in weights, bro. Just just do technique. I
I
was like,
don't,
oh, true. Yeah.
I don't
Like, yeah,
believe in weights.
sometimes on a Sunday if I'm up for it, I'll hit some weights. And I'm like, he's like fucking shredded year round. He got the most random routine, bro. Like, he doesn't eat till like 3, 4 in the afternoon.
Real?
Just yeah, and he maybe that's why he's shredded, but
Fucking
yeah, I don't know.
your whole gym, bro. And then fucking look at Darcy, made out of rocks. Fucking
He's got a nice physique too.
yeah. What about you though? You don't get accused of nothing, so that's if
Yeah,
anything, that's insulting, isn't it?
yeah, I know. Maybe I need to like get on the juice.
Yeah, yeah, why not?
Yeah.
Now, mate, before I let you go, talk about just life. I mean, you chat up girls at the bar while you work, you live in a caravan out the back, and all you do is train. Is there anything else, do you see friends and family outside, or what are you doing?
Well, I got no family in. Yeah, I have some friends, but most of the guys I train with are all sort of like actually have a bit of a life going on, like they got families and all that sort of stuff. So I get a lot of social interaction being like coaching at the gym and hanging out with the boys there. So I don't know, weekends I sort of just mind my own business a lot of the time. But yeah, I was talking to Brad a few weeks ago, Brad Riddell, about like finding hobbies and
Yeah.
stuff outside of the sport, but I just haven't found something that actually gets my interest just yet. So yeah,
Yeah.
until then.
It's weird because it's one of those things where it's like it's almost like you've got to let people do it that way because that's how you get really good. But like even like the likes of like I was chatting to Jimmy Crute the other day and it was the same thing. Like his entire life was fighting. He's like, and then it hit a point where it was like, fuck. As soon as I found other stuff, he's like, I got even better. And it's
Really?
like, yeah, but it's also like you can't. Jack Jenkins is great at that as well. Is he's really good at separating sort of the business of fighting and obviously finding other stuff outside. But I feel like at your age, you're supposed to do that. You're supposed to be like all in, fuck everyone.
Yeah, yeah, and I feel like with those guys as well, like they might have been like this on the regional scene, but kind of once you are fighting full time and you don't have to work and stuff, it frees up a lot of time to do other things. But yeah,
Yeah.
at this stage of my life, I'm sort of just like head down and yeah, just not looking too far out of martial arts really.
Well, speaking of martial arts, March 14th, Beatdown Promotions. How do you feel that this Mario Loga fight's gonna go?
And I've obviously I'm very confident. I wouldn't have taken the fight if I didn't think I was gonna beat him. But I think it's one that if I'm on my A game, I should be able to dominate. To be honest,
You gonna strike with him? Fucking.
yeah, it's it's my plan. It's an MMA fight, but I mean, my plan is not to run across the ring and shoot a double leg. That's for sure.
Oh, all right. I
But
like
we'll
it.
see. We'll see how it happens.
Now, mate, before I let you go, after it's all said and done, how does Nate Law want to be remembered in mixed martial arts?
How do I want to be remembered? I think I just like someone who's like very well rounded who could beat any style of fighter. Like could fight anyone and like not have any deficiencies in skills. Like can go in there, outpace people, outstrike people from the outside, outgrapple people. And probably the other thing as well is just being a good teammate and someone who help level up the people around them.
Well, mate, everyone speaks so very highly of you, so I can't wish you the best of luck. Yeah, our adopted Australian, Nate Law. Thank you for taking the time.
Nah, I appreciate you having me on, bro.
See you later, brother.